Let's talk about some backpacking gear hacks, tips. I've never really done one of these videos, but I was out at a campsite and thought, you know, I could pull together something to at least give some hacks of some things that I've done over the years. Now, some of these may be helpful to you, and some of these may be just absolutely nothing to you. But use what you can, throw away what you don't want to use. That's kind of the way I go about it. But here's some stuff that's worked for me. I like to use a Tic Tac container for my medicine. I have to take thyroid medicine and other things during the day, so I use this Tic Tac container. It's waterproof. It has a great little opening and I can see everything inside. So it's a lot smaller than the medicine bottle, and that's always bulky, and I hate to put different things in there. So I put just exactly what I need in here and take it on a backpacking trip, and I know what I've got. So a good little hack for me is a Tic Tac container that will contain everything I need for my medicine for the week or whatever I'm doing. The next thing I'd like to talk about, I guess number 2, would be the Lightload towel. I got this from a friend of mine named Leonidas on the trail. I've used it ever since. Now, what I really like about them is, you can see, they are super light. When you originally get them, they're dried out in a small little cellophane container, and then you just open them up and then they kind of come apart like this. This thing has lasted me a long time. It's super light, but what it does is it really helps me with the condensation on my duplex inside and out. If I'm in an area that's got condensation really bad, this thing has been a lifesaver. I've used it, the first time I used it was on the Mountain to Sea Trail. Leonidas gave it to me and I've used it ever since. And this little towel you would think wouldn't last long, but it's lasted me over a year just for the first one. So I ordered some more, and if this one ever goes bad, then I'll get another one. As soon as you get it all wet, you can just wring it out. Wrings out really fast. Great for condensation, or using it for your cook set or anything else at the campfire to pick up things that are hot. So the Lightload towel, I'll put the link below. It's a wonderful little thing to use. My third hack that I'd like to talk about is the Get Out Gear Down Puffy blanket. They are a wonderful little company, but I kind of made a hack to their puffy blanket. Now, these blankets are very inexpensive. Some of them, like the Rumble and different ones, are very expensive, and it has worked well for me in summer camping or spring camping. But let me show you the hack that I did with it. So if you know me, you know my mother was a home ec teacher, and so she's a master sewer. And so sometimes I'll go to her and say, could you help me with this? Could you help me with that with my backpacking gear? So the blanket itself, it looks like a blanket. It just folds out, you just throw it over you. But when I wanted the temperature to go a little lower with this thing, what I asked my mother to do for me is to sew me in a foot box. So she took the blanket as it lays out and she sewed it in from bottom all the way across to about halfway through my calf. And now I've got a little blanket, but really now I've got a sleeping bag for spring and summer camping. Like tonight, only going down to maybe 58 degrees. This thing works great, and it's got a foot box. And I don't have to worry about the draft coming in because the foot box keeps my feet and my calves all warm inside of the blanket itself. So there's the next one, the Get Out Gear blanket gear hack. The next thing I do, and I really like, is I use these Bigfoot Gear Bushcraft. Bigfoot Bushcraft, I think, is the company. I use their small fire starters. They have a really nice fire starter that they sell, and I can take a few at a time. They have them in a container. But the other thing that I do with them, I put them in a small Ziploc bag with my BELLOW kit. So this little BELLOW just folds out like this, and then I can blow into the fire and get the oxygen going underneath. And this is my fire starting kit. So I have a small Ziploc bag with my fire starters in it, and then my BELLOW kit, and I am ready to go. All I need is a lighter, and I'm ready to go with that. So that is my hack with a Ziploc bag, a BELLOW fire kit, and a fire starter. I don't know, it works for me. If you have other fire starting kits that you like to use, let me know down in the comments below. The next hack that I have is probably not real ingenious to anybody. Everybody's seen this before, but I use the Gossamer Gear little 1/8 foam pad. I use it primarily for me is for my sleeping pads. These sleeping pads can be super expensive. I mean, they're $150, $180. In fact, I just got another one that I'm using, the Tensor, Nemo Tensor pad. And so I use this little 1/8 pad or padding. It's only 3/4 length, but that's basically what my body compresses underneath. so that's all I need. But I put it underneath my pad just to protect my pad. I can't tell you how many times, maybe 2 or 3, that my stinking sleeping pad has gotten a hole in it because I don't protect it underneath enough. So this thing has been great. Ever since I've gotten this, I haven't had any holes in the bottom of my pad. I just put it underneath the sleeping pad. Gives a little warmth rating to it, but it also protects the pad from any abrasions or any roots or things that stick in to the pad, and then I'm compressing against it that can cause some sort of tear and puncture the pad. The next hack that I've got, and I know this is going to be controversial, but I use the Hilltop packs, Fanny pack. I love this thing. I mean, because I do a lot of paddling and I do a lot of bicycling, this thing is always with me. When I'm on a bicycle, I turn it around backwards and put it on my back. When I'm in the kayak, I always have it in the front here, and I can get to all my electronics, and I roll it down. And because it's Dyneema, it is highly water resistant. But then I also usually put a 1 gallon Ziploc bag or freezer bag inside just to make sure that nothing gets water in it, because I've usually got my electronics in it, and that's not something I want to get wet. But this thing has been great for me. It has the nice little hip belt that goes around it. It doesn't really bother me with my pack. It's worked great for me, so that's my hack on that. Now, another hack that I like to use or tip is the Nyloflume bag. This thing is super light. It looks like one of those Mylar balloons that you get for happy birthday for your kid's 4th birthday or whatever, a birthday party. But essentially, you can put this inside your pack. Even though I have a Dyneema pack, I'm always concerned that water's gonna get in there somehow. So I just line this. It works perfectly with my pack. You can get these on all kinds of websites, where it's Gravity Gear or Gossamer Gear, or Z-Packs has them, I think. But any of those websites has these Nyloflume bags, and it just takes away that anxious feeling that you've got water in your pack when it's raining. So the Nyloflume bag, it's a great pack liner, and it's worked well for me. So a couple more things that I have, and this, again, not something that just comes out of the blue. Everybody uses these, but I love to use the sports water bottle tops on my water bottles. In fact, I'm a little dry mouth right now. But these things work great because you can pop on and off. You don't have to worry about them. I do worry sometimes that this top can break off here, it can tear, but they've worked really well for me, and I use them on all my water bottles. I just keep this top on there, and you can get to your water and squeeze really quickly. So just another hack. Again, probably if you're watching this video, you probably use these. And of course, I use this aqua clip when I'm not got my pack, or I set my pack down. I will take this aqua clip and put it on my belt or something if I'm just going away from a campsite and hiking for the day. Another good little tip to use on your water bottles. So the last 2 things I want to talk about are your bug spray or your bug protection. On this trip, I use Permethrin, and I've got a little clip of that here in the corner that I'll show you. But I use the Sawyer Permetherin. I sprayed it on these clothes that I have now. So far, I haven't found a tick, but I'm out here in tick heaven. I mean, the Sipsey Wilderness, and it's summer, there's gonna be a tick somewhere. But so far, the Permetherin has worked on me, but I'm sure I'll find one somewhere. But you just kind of saturate your clothes with the Permetherin. Now, is it the best thing for you? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of controversy about spraying Permetherin, and if there are any issues with it. But then other people use other things. Some people use DEET. Some people use PICARIDIN, and PICARIDIN is said to be more of a natural product that can stop insects. I haven't used that much. I know that some other people have used it, and it's worked well for them. So that's another thing that I would say is, for summer backpacking, it is a good idea to use. The last thing I will say in conjunction with using DEET or Permetherin or PICARIDIN or any other product is, I like to, and I forgot it on this trip, but I'll put a little picture of it, is I usually have a lint brush with me, a small lint brush, and I roll it up and down to get the ticks off. So if I see one on there, I can just roll it, the ticks go on there, can throw it away later, but it's a good way to get the ticks off of you. Hey, one bonus hack or tip for backpacking gear, and I really think it's the one thing that I've used ever since I started. I actually got this from Early Riser in one of his videos when he was doing the Appalachian Trail. Now, he used like a down tree log behind me to make sure that everything touched it. I use a contractor bag. If you can see below me, there's a contractor bag on the ground. It's white. And so when I unload my backpack, everything that's in it, I put on this contractor bag. Because I can't tell you how many times before I started doing this that I would leave something at the campsite. But now, everything is on this contractor bag, and so if I go away from it, if I pack up, I know that everything is here and nothing is anywhere else. So I think it's a good tip or hack to use, and that is a contractor bag and all your gear on top of it. So the last tip I'll give you, and this is just fun for me, is on this trip, a good little tip at the end of the day, I brought 3 ribeyes. I'm not gonna eat them all myself, but just kind of marinated them in some sauce, and for a short hike in, you know, whatever your meat of choice or maybe your lettuce of choice or whatever you do, bring your favorite food out for the night on the first night. Even though it's a little heavier, a ribeye is gonna go a long way tonight. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. I hope that one or more of these tips works for you. If it doesn't, then go to another video and find some other tips. But I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you can get something out of one of these tips. All right, I'll see you guys on the next adventure.